How's the real estate market doing where you are located, right? As a real estate agent, we get this question all the time. How's the market? So in this video, I want to tell you a little bit about how the US market is doing along with the Central Florida market. I'm wearing my fancy glasses so I can look very sophisticated in my presentation to you. Not really, but they kind of, do they match? I don't know. Okay, so today I want to talk about a little bit about the market because it's good to know what's going on in the United States along with your market. In our market, it's the Central Florida market. So right now, they're recording this video. It's around November of 2025. What the data is showing is this, that nationally, home prices are still rising in many metro areas. In fact, some of the single family homes are about up to $426,800 year over year. So it's still slightly rising overall, but the rate of increase is slowing down to like 1 or 2% in a lot of places. We're seeing probably 3 to 4% growth in Central Florida. And inventory for most area, homes for sale, is growing. And so that's great for buyers because the choice is even better. And so if you are out there looking for a home, you're more than likely going to have more to choose from. Now, I know in other parts of the United States, sometimes the north central part, they're still just flying off the shelf, different market altogether there. But generally speaking, the inventory is up somewhat in the United States. So let's talk about rates. Mortgage interest rates, they've kind of eased a little bit compared to their recent peak, right? And I was recently looking at a chart from Redfin, I believe it was, and you could see where we started in January of 2025 up here, and I'm going to call it 7%, or between 7.1, and it going down, it doing some of this, down, up, down, but it's trended down until here we are end of November, and we're probably at 6.1, 6.2, sometimes 6.0 on an FHA, depending on what day of the week it is, what hour it is. But we've seen that continue to trend down, and they say rates should dip a little bit more in 2026. I don't think there's anything drastic going on there, but still, that's what we're seeing. So builder confidence for new single family homes is still fairly modest. The National Association of Home Builders Index is at 38 right now, which is pretty good. First-time home buyers are at a low record, right now because of the affordability and the supply issues. So we're still seeing first-time home buyers sitting on the sidelines a little bit more because of the affordability factor. Let's face it. On an average range here in, I'm going to call it the Lakeland area, of about $350, $360, you're talking a mortgage payment, depending on what type of program you're going with, of still, depending, $2,800 a month, $3,000 a month, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. $3,000 a month is a lot for a house payment, especially for first-time home buyers, young families. It's a lot. So what does this mean? This means that the market is shifting toward balance rather than some extreme seller's market or some crash, which, by the way, I had a buyer tell me that the other day. It's going to crash. I feel like it's going to, when this happens, when this politician does this, or what the so-and-so attacks that. I'm like, no, you're exactly incorrect. Here's why. It's a supply-demand issue. Supply-demand. There's no supply-demand issue that indicates there's going to be a crash. The data does not prove that. And he quickly buttoned his mouth and changed his tune, but there's nothing indicating that. So when you hear that, no, supply-demand, it's not going to happen. But for home buyers, let's talk. There's more negotiating power than in 2021, 2022, where we had very few inventory and buyers were going nuts to buy a home because of these fake rates, if you will, these 2.5%, 3% real. People were getting them, but you and I know it was terrible for the market in so many ways. But so many buyers now, homeowners, capitalized on it. I think that's awesome. But over the long haul, it's not a good thing. Unless you're going to stay in your house for 20, 30 years. Awesome. So as a buyer, you do have more negotiating power now than you did in 2021, 2022. If you're thinking about building a home builders right now are offering crazy incentives. Just talked with a buyer today and a builder, and they're offering a 4.5% fixed rate when the going is about 6 to 6.25. Fantastic. So the builder is buying down that rate which is really good, and then giving them like $20K in closing costs. But again, these builders need to move product. So that's another thing it means. Now, what else does it mean for a real estate agent? If you're an agent and you're watching this, for you and me, what does this mean? This means this, that the environment emphasizes what? Consulting with people rather than just assuming. So, if you're an agent watching this, your clients are going to want your guidance on the timing of, trying to time things the best you can. Don't really try to time the market, but maybe the client's timing. When is your timing, right? Always weigh that out more than anything else. Talk to me about pricing, about market strategy, rather than trying to simply ride some hot wave, which is not good, okay? What does that mean in the Central Florida home market? So if you're based in Lakeland and Central Florida, these are some key numbers that you're going to want to pay attention to. So in Florida, the median home price in October of 2025 was around $408,700. So down slightly year over year. Closed sales of existing family homes in the third quarter of 2025, which were about 65,776 statewide, which up 1.6% year over year. Inventory supply was around 5.1 months in many parts of Florida. Right here in Lakeland, we're at about a 4-month inventory supply. So it's really suggesting neither extreme shortage nor massive oversupply. So somewhat of a neutral supply, I would argue, right? Maybe slightly in favor of the buyer in our market with incentives and inventory, but pretty much a neutral market. So again, in Florida, we're seeing some cooling price growth. Now, certain areas are getting hit harder than others. The Tampa area, I understand, is getting hit a little bit harder. The Miami, the South Florida market, is a major supply of condos and some other things. So they're getting hit with inventory even harder. But if you're in the Lakeland, Central Florida area, so our region is really kind of fitting into it's really very moderized trend right now. So there's really strong fundamentals from past in-migration, but less kind of frenzied than this pandemic peak that we hit when things went crazy. People were moving in from California, Arizona, Washington, New York at record paces and just offering whatever for the house, waiving inspections, waiving appraisals, doing whatever it took to get into a house. So that's over, right? And we don't see that ever coming back, if not for a long time. Now, some buyers who are waiting for a big crash, they keep waiting because no indications, the numbers are not indicating that's going to happen now, but you're going to have better negotiating position right now, absolutely. But again, some major collapses, highly unlikely. So, as a realtor, coach, mentor, right now, you get an opportunity because you can help others, other realtors, other buyers and sellers, see more realistic deals, right? And us as realtors can help sellers adjust your expectation, your strategy. Say, here's what you need to think about. We're in a market where it's really leaning toward more of a balanced market. But man, more than ever, you've got to be priced right as a seller. You've got to make sure your property is ready to go. And as a home buyer, you've got to know the market. You got to have a licensed realtor looking out for your needs and give you an idea as far as what the community looks like that you're looking to purchase in, right? Real estate is very localized. So what may be true in Tampa and Orlando is going to be different in Lakeland, Winter Haven, Bartow, because the market's going to be a little bit different, especially neighborhood specific. You've got to look at that. So what can we watch in the market right now and advise our clients on? The first thing, again, as a seller and a buyer, is pricing, right? So, you've got to, if you're working with a home seller right now, you've got to price your listings realistically, not pie in the sky, right? You've got to also prepare everybody for inspection contingencies, more than likely negotiate some repair credits, right? I mean, just kind of factor that into your negotiation. Many times I'll tell sellers, depending on the price range that we're talking about in the offer, hey, keep a little bit of repair credit in your back pocket. Be prepared to offer a little bit to the home buyer for a small credit, or you'll fix these minor items from the home inspection. You need to be ready and have somebody walk alongside you to help you strategize this and many other parts about selling a home. So inventory tracking, we are monitoring listings, active, pending, sale, in our market. We're really kind of dialed into what the average days in the market is. And right now in our area, it's probably 75 to 90 days in the $300,000 to $800,000 price range, somewhere in that neighborhood. And they're probably at 96 to 98% list to sale price too. So still pretty strong, right? Tell me there's a crash. Definitely is not coming. Look at that, like 96 to 98%. I could pull up a chart and show it to you. There's no crash. Some of these people have no idea what they're talking about. They like to stir it up. Stir it up, people. That's what they like to do. All right, so what about mortgage and financing environment? So we as realtors have to educate our clients. Let's talk about interest rates, right? If you're in the low sixes, that's still a really good rate. You know, getting a 30-year fixed, what about a 15-year fixed? You could probably get in the mid fives, right? What does that mean for your payment goal and your affordability, right? Real estate agents, don't ever try to get somebody into a larger home than they can afford, to where they can't go out on the weekend, they can't enjoy a meal with their family. I mean, don't let any of your clients get house poor. Work with lenders that want to make sure that they are doing the right thing for your clients, right? What your clients' wishes and desires are, but also educating them, teaching them, right? Here's what your ratio means. Here's where your housing payment has to fall under. And this is healthy, okay? So, man, make sure you work with a good lender that really helps educate your client along that way. So, again, your market is hyper-local, so it's gonna be a little bit different, right? So, here's the thing. Focus on value, providing value for your clients, and then their life stage, okay? What stage of life are they at? What are they needing right now? What is their goal? Here's the thing. Turnover is lower right now. There's still people all over the United States that are staying in their house because they got that 2.5% rate, and they're not moving probably. They're happy. Well, they're staying satisfied with their rates, and they may not love the house, but they're going to stay because they're not giving up that rate. When we see rates get a little bit lower, right? When that happens, because we know that will happen. When it does, they say get in the high fives. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see some people saying, I can probably make that change now. I think I'm willing to do that, but I'm not going to do that until that happens. So find out where your clients are at. So important. Listen with this and then present with this, right? So not just how fast can we sell it? What is your time frame? How can I best fit your needs? And hey, be aware of cost pressures. In Florida, homeowners insurance has gone up. We know that, right? Still, you can get homeowners insurance at a reasonable rate. Have a good local insurance person price out your property. Just did one for a closing I've got tomorrow. Very reasonable with the home and the condition and the roof and the AC and the electrical and the plumbing, a very fair rate. So it's out there, a little bit more pricey, as is everything else, but affordable, right? Homeowners insurance, HOAs, maintenance, regulatory factors, condos. Make sure that's going to all affect supply and demand. Make sure for sure that you're looking out for your client's best interest. So I hope this has helped you with how the market is right now, today in Central Florida and in the nation. And as always, would love to be a service to you. My name is Brian Stevens, eXp Realty. I'm with Realtors of Faith. We serve with honesty and integrity and a straightforward approach to how we can best serve you as the client. So I hope this video has found value to you. Do me a favor, comment below what you learned in this or what you thought, this is something I'm going to lock in on, and let's focus on that. All right. Hey, let's have a conversation. Text me, call me, and let's connect soon. Just remember this, whether selling or buying, you got to call Brian. Have a good day.